All right, Rocky Top. Last time we talked, they had not come out with the playoff rankings. Tennessee, again, I'm going to have to stress, an unranked team at the beginning of the season was ranked what for the playoffs?
The first playoff bracket, number 1 in the nation.
Number 1. They beat Georgia. Now, obviously, that may change as we just found out.
Didn't beat
the information.
Lost to Georgia.
We lost to Georgia this past weekend. The score was 13-27. What was shocking about that was it was not as close as everybody had expected it might be. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, we come out sluggish the first half, got down like 24-3 or something at halftime or something like that. But second half played a little better. Just Hendon Hooker missed all the throws that he's made all year. Receivers stopped running on some routes, just didn't play very good. But a lot of that has to do with they had 15 5-star guys. We had 1 5-star guy. So Heupel, his scheme, everything's going great. We just got to add some more of those 5-star dudes.
Yeah, and it's like a vicious cycle. Once you start to win in a program like this, then you start to recruit better too. So Tennessee is in a very good position right now to be a power team for the foreseeable future. Now, in the AP poll, Tennessee was 2. After this week, they dropped down to 5. Obviously, Georgia is now number 1 on the AP poll. I'm going to make a prediction. Me and Coach Partee were out there talking, and here's my prediction. I think LSU is going to win out the West because of the Alabama game that they handled very well. And then I think Georgia will obviously be the East, and then I think the committee, the all-powerful committee, quote-unquote, will end up just putting Tennessee in as one of the 4 teams, and then whoever wins the LSU-Georgia game, I think, will also be one of the teams that would be
putting us in. I mean, we still got to win out and take care of which we will do.
Everybody up north is going to say they didn't even play in the SEC championship because of the standings,
which may help us. But you've got Michigan State and Michigan and Ohio State. They're going to play, so one of them will be out because their schedules are weak and they don't play anybody except each other. Then you got Clemson. Got killed by Notre Dame.
Clemson should not have been ranked as high as they were all season long.
Now people know. But now people know that. But then you got TCU. They still got, I think they're going to Texas this weekend. They'll probably lose that, even though I'm not great at predictions. I said coming into the Georgia game, Georgia would already have an SEC loss. So obviously I was wrong about that. But I do hope that we win out. I'm not predicting anymore, but it was great seeing the Kobe Dean. He got to call the dogs before the Tennessee Georgia game, former Horn Lake alum. So shout out to him. That's a huge game in their program, one of the biggest games I've ever played in their program, and Horn Lake alums out there calling the dogs with all those people. He got them a little too loud, got them too hyped. We couldn't handle it. The big thing is Tennessee's a great football team. They're going to score points and all that, and they'll continue to score points. We did make mistakes, but that was only our 3rd road game of the season. The first one won in overtime versus Pittsburgh. Second one went down to Baton Rouge, easy place to play. Beat them by 4 touchdowns. Pulled our starters out early.
The 9th graders don't understand sarcasm.
So drug LSU at Baton Rouge. And then, so this is only our 3rd road game. Georgia fans, they showed up. Tennessee football team didn't. Line had the worst game they've had all year. Receivers, quarterbacks. So anyway, I was proud of the defense. Held them second half. Had some big plays. So anyway.
I thought Tennessee was going to win that game. I thought before that game that Georgia was also a little bit overhyped this year because I do not think Georgia is the same great team they were last year. They're still a very good team. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, and I thought that they were overhyped. I don't agree with that statement anymore. I think Georgia is probably one of the top 3 teams in the nation. I don't know how the 1, 2, 3 would be actually ranked. Tennessee is definitely up there. I don't know if Ohio State is as good as everybody makes them out to be.
I don't think so. But I've been wrong a bunch. So the only thing I wasn't wrong about is my Vols coming into this year. I knew we were going to have a good year. But I say when the playoff committee comes out, we'll probably be 5. But then you still got the Michigan-Ohio State game, so one of them will drop out, and then you got TCU going to Texas. I think we'll be 5. But our playoff chances went up, after the loss. So we were at 60% to make the playoffs before the Georgia game. If we beat them, of course, it goes high. But losing that game and Alabama losing again and Clemson losing, now our percentage is about 64%.
Definitely. It threw some other teams completely out, which means Tennessee has. And Tennessee didn't. Tennessee still played very, very well. And so it's absolutely, I do think my prediction might end up being the one that comes true. I think LSU and Georgia will play. I think Georgia will handle LSU without much issue because Georgia's defense is amazing and their offense, they can definitely score. And then I think Tennessee will just be one of the top 4 teams that the committee chooses to put in because it is hard down here in the South to get, for as many good teams as we have, it's hard to just say, hey, one SEC championship is going to send just one team. When does the playoff bracket actually start? Is it next year or the year after that?
They're talking about it next year. The 12 teams or whatever they're talking about next year. They still got a lot of stuff to work out. They don't know. They have enough trouble every week picking the 4 best teams in the nation, so they don't know when they're expanding it. Because then you try to pick 12, you got more people arguing and making money off of analysis and all that, but they got to figure all that out.
But more teams get a shot at the playoffs by doing that, so it's less of obscurity of whose schedule is the hardest and all of this stuff. So we'll see. We'll get into all of that later. But for now, old Tennessee, top of the.
I get to go up there and watch them this weekend. I get to ride up there and watch Missouri. Missouri, played Georgia good. Lost by, a touchdown or less. So
right.
That'll be interesting. They're improved. We're back at home, though. And hopefully that will help. You always are afraid of a letdown game after a big game like that, after you beat an Alabama or, luckily we had UT Martin after Alabama. We got a quality opponent after Georgia, so we'll see how it goes. But I'd like us to get back on track.
It is maybe the second loudest stadium in the country. How many people does Tennessee seat? I think it's the second biggest. I think Ohio State's bigger, and that's it.
110-ish, maybe 108. I don't know.
You can tell on TV how loud it is because when they're trying to talk and call the games with very good microphones and isolation, it's still hard to hear because you can tell how loud that crowd really is. So you take earplugs?
I don't. My girls will. But saying that, I'm fine with the loud crowd at 2:30 games because you ain't got to listen to Gary Danielson. He hates Tennessee. But if we play at 11 or at 9, I'm fine with being able to hear the commentators.
All right. We'll see how it goes. We just wanted to check in on Mr. Toungett about this season.